Bob Chesney, which I don't know. Are you guys hearing anything solidified? I mean, I'm not really hearing anything solidified right now, but
I haven't seen anything.
I mean,
through the football guys I know, there's no official statement that I've heard.
I don't mean to cut you guys off, but I just got a text. He said, "Send me a link. I have an update."
So maybe that's funny because he's obviously listening. Then,
yeah, he's listening. Yeah, for sure. But go ahead, you guys talk, and then I'm going to send it to Chris, and then we'll get him on here.
Yeah.
Cool.
Very cool.
So to piggyback too off what you guys were saying with Joe, Franklin got really good individual performances for players, but he never knew how to put it all together, right? He had the recipe. He had the recipe, but did not have any clue how to freaking cook. He couldn't make cereal. He couldn't make freaking cereal, guys.
Yeah, Chris said it the other night. He said he had no clue how to make adjustments.
Couldn't boil water.
What's up?
Dude.
What's up, kitty cat?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean, dude, and what? My God, I've been wanting to see offense like that. Have we scored 37 points all season besides Nevada? Well, yeah, we did against the Cupcakes.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
And Nebraska is not a bad team. You have to put it into perspective too. We beat Nebraska, and then we beat top
15 defense, by the way.
We almost beat Indiana.
Oh.
You know.
Yep. Well, and we had more in the tank. We ran the clock out the last 7 minutes. So,
Chris, what's up, man?
What's up, Chris?
Hey, what's going on, guys? How are you?
In.
Thanks. I literally just walked in from work, but so here's what I'll say. Basically, what I told you I didn't want to say the other night on Saturday. I'm not going to say the name, but there was a certain DOT member that famous name that every Penn State guy would know that was at the game on Saturday, tailgated with somebody I knew, and said we had our hire pretty much in place. And that's been confirmed now by like a lot of people. What I believe is going on right now, what I have gathered is Pat Kraft is pushing for getting a definite answer from Kalen DeBoer this Sunday, a yes or a no. Most likely going to be a no. Now, if you lose with Auburn, maybe there's a chance, but even then, who knows? And if it's not, if Kalen DeBoer says no, that there's pretty much a deal in place for Bob Chesney. That is what I've gathered. Nothing's 100%. I'm not, I don't know if that's, I'm pretty confident that is what is going on. There's an outside shot that is not either of them. Like watch out because a lot of people are still talking about a mystery candidate, like maybe that like nobody's really talking about, like possibly a Jed Fish or someone like that, or a Cliff Kingsbury. But right now, I really do think that if I were to put money on the next head coach is Bob Chesney.
And that's what we got in the chat.
That's pretty much what I've.
That's what the chat just told us like 10 minutes ago.
Yeah, the one guy said Bob Chesney's announced it on Sunday. I think they'll announce it next Sunday.
It'll leak sooner. Well, if DeBoer says, I think people are saying the deal in place that it's a done deal because everybody's pretty much expecting that DeBoer is going to say no, and it's going to be Chesney. So that's why they're saying that like that's what it is. But there's an outside shot with DeBoer. DeBoer never gave an official no. He never gave an official no. He just kind of strung things along, and then it really picked up some heat. Like this whole search, Kalen DeBoer has been kind of like just his agents has been like from what I was told from certain people, his agent was just kind of like in a PR relationship with Penn State, like just hey, thanks for the offer. I don't know, we'll see. Just like nothing that showed that he was very interested. But then that picked up, I guess, last 2-3 weeks that the DeBoer smoke really picked up. And so Kraft was swinging for a big name guy, and he still never got an official no from DeBoer. Supposed to get a definite answer, yes or no, Sunday. And then if it's no, it's probably Bob Chesney.
Listen,
he's
I'd
an
probably
offensive
rather
guy.
I'd rather take Bob Chesney, man. He's 48.
I don't want Kalen DeBoer. I don't want Kalen.
Yeah,
DeBoer.
I'd rather take Bob.
You guys don't want DeBoer. DeBoer's got the best record of the big name coaches out there. Of all the big name coaches, DeBoer. You see DeBoer's record. DeBoer,
but I don't want a big name coach.
Well, I mean, listen. The way coaching goes to me, like if you told people 2 years ago Kirk Cignetti was going to be great, they'd say he's a no-name guy. So I get it. It could go either way. But I'm just saying, like, when Kraft was going big game hunting and everybody was big on Mike Elko, Kalen DeBoer even has a better record. You look up his record, it's his win-loss record, his winning percentage is incredible. And he's great against top 10 teams. Like, you can't – so I don't know why you wouldn't want him, but – it looks like it's going to be Chesney either, like most likely anyways. So
he's an offensive guy, Joel, just so you know. Okay, so I'm going to pull this up real quick. First of all, one thing he's got going for him is hold on. You guys still all there? Yeah. Aaron's blocked out by Gus. Gus, get out of the way.
Gus, what do you think? Gus, you like him?
Yeah.
Gus, what do you think? Are you going to say something? But anyway, real quick, Bob Chesney
Mark,
looks like Joe Crispin.
You said Chesney's an offensive guy?
Yeah.
His background's defense.
Okay,
he wasn't
both,
you know,
is he
now
not?
Well,
he's not both?
Bad. As a head coach, he is. But his background before he was a head coach was always on the defensive side of the ball. He was a D-back coach with John Hopkins. Then he was a defensive coordinator with John Hopkins. And, you know, in fact, he was a top candidate for the DC job. And he supposedly is very aggressive defensively, kind of like Manny is. I haven't watched much of him to know his scheme. But he's won everywhere he went. Supposedly really good defensive-minded guy. Anyway, and we'll go from there.
Well, hey, Terry Smith made our offense happen the last couple of weeks. Just throw Terry Smith as the OC at this point. Like, just give it to him.
Across the board, they really score points. I mean, and he's 130-51 as a head coach. And he looks like Joe.
He's won everywhere he went. It's just not at a top level. But I mean,
he actually played his college ball about 30 minutes north of me.
Dickinson, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, so here's the thing with my thoughts on Chesney. I'm fine with it if it's him, and he is very if you listen to him some YouTube videos, he's very charismatic. He's a perfect cultural fit, a PA guy that will stick around for a very long time if it works out, and. From a recruiting standpoint, I'm sure he could really sell parents and sell kids. Very charismatic in that regard. Yeah. My one concern is that recruiting is at all NIL, which will get a GM, and the NIL will take care of itself in that regard. But the second most important thing in recruiting is player development. Players want to see a proven track record of coaches that put guys in the NFL. So what kind of staff is Chesney going to have if it is in fact him? You know what I mean? Like Max Granville was from Oklahoma, and he's a top DN recruit who got hurt, unfortunately, coming in the preseason, and he was going to get a ton of playing time, and he came from Oklahoma to Penn State specifically from watching what Abdul Carter and Chop Robinson did and how aggressive, how well we develop defensive ends. So if Chesney takes the staff from JMU, some guys, who obviously aren't putting people in the NFL, that's a little bit of a concern. But as far as being charismatic and winning parents over and stuff like that, he'll definitely do that.
Yeah. Sugarland, Texas, actually, but close. He came same town as Parker, Washington. Max Granville. Yeah. Sugarland, Texas.
Yeah, Brett would know that.
Okay. Yeah.
Close,
Texas. I'm sorry. I was thinking Oklahoma. I'm sorry. Yeah. It was between everybody thought he was going to go to Oklahoma. like everybody at the end, and that's how we got him. But I'm just using it as an example for the player development side. That's huge for recruiting.
So, Chris, I think the player development will be there, but he needs to embrace NIL in the portal, and it sounds like you think he'll do that, and I think he will get support. So,
yeah. And to be honest, Smith, Andy Frank, I'm glad he's gone. I don't think he was.
Opinion. I mean, yeah.
Yeah,
he just said, phenomenal brew. I don't know who he is. Thank you for commenting, but it's a done deal. Bob Chesney will be announced this Sunday.
There you go. Yeah. It'll probably be leaked sooner, but
Oh, so we're gonna be. When is it? When are they announcing it?
Oh, I don't know when. I just know, like I said, if from what I was told is true, that they're going to wait for definite yes or no from DeBoer. I'm sure if DeBoer says no, which Sunday is supposed to be his deadline, then I'm sure it'll probably be leaked sometime around then. Some people said a little sooner.
But Sunday, you said, go ahead.
Sunday's 2 days before signing day, so that's funny, yeah.
And they did want to get a coach. I did read they want to get someone in before signing day. I don't know how much of a difference it's going to make, but
2 days is not very generous, man. That sucks.
I guarantee you.
Franklin screwed us already with that.
Yeah, he did. I guarantee you, this is the guy they wanted to. This is who they wanted. Like they narrowed it down ultimately, and I think that's who they wanted. I mean, you say about DeBoer, so maybe that wasn't like their number one top choice, but it's still a very good choice. Aaron, you said the other night that you didn't have an issue with Franklin. Do you agree with what I just said in the sense that what he did? I'm just curious.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know him personally, and I always have that rule of I don't know a guy, so I'm not going to judge him too harshly from a distance. But much like I have with Brian Kelly down at LSU, I know he's not a good dude. Yeah. He's not a great guy. I know he's probably just kind of at best an okay dude. And that was James Franklin to me. And you could see it. You could see it in every time he got up in front of a microphone. He was one of those guys that I always say he's got something he's hiding all the time. He's constantly always hiding something. But you could just tell that he was, and I also got that vibe of that DEI hire with him, that he was there because it was clean and it saved the program from facing its demons as opposed to just doing the right thing, right? Facing them down and getting better and identifying what was really wrong and solving it. There's a bad habit, and people have a habit of doing that. But I felt like that was one of the reasons I was never surprised that he whitewashed the program. Because that's what he was there to do. I mean, he was hired for that. That intent was to basically disconnect from the history of the program as much as possible after what happened. And I always thought that was a bad approach. That's not how you deal with things. But I just got vibes from him. Too many times I would catch wind from people that I knew up there that would tell me, he gets in arguments with fans. He doesn't support the local community. He doesn't. He fights with Pat Kraft about NIL things. He fights with the staffers about just ridiculous stuff. Like he's up here worried about what direction his Gatorade bottles turned. It's just silly things, And when you hear a lot of that about somebody without knowing them personally, you try not to be too judgmental. But you hear enough of that to know I don't think I would like to hang out with him. It was just a vibe I got. I was like, I don't think I'd be friends with James Franklin if I knew him. But
yeah, you don't want to watch a game in your boxers with him in the basement.
Eat mashed potatoes.
Dude, he's not the kind of guy like you want to go get a beer with.
No, never came off.
So. Yeah,
he's a micromanager. That's like I know a person like one of my contacts that's a good contact from that connections with the BLT. So he was just a freakish micromanager, and that was another hang up people had. Franklin was too arrogant and stubborn for his own good.
He was
And
so
that's
arrogant, man.
problem.
So
Like,
arrogant.
Kraft didn't want to give him an extension. He went behind Kraft's back to the president. Kraft wanted him as his boss to embrace NIL, to pay recruits more. He didn't want to do that. Like, everything was his way. And as a top guy, okay, you're going to have most of the control. But he was too stubborn to accept change. And then he goes to Virginia Tech, and everything he says at Virginia Tech, you could clearly, he didn't have much self-reflection, because it's the same exact stuff he's saying, he said when he was at Penn State. And just too many stories behind closed doors, just too many other things. It's not,
Yeah. The other night, one of my favorite comments was from, I think it was Franklin Natty. First of all, on top of what he said the other night, Brett said, yeah, Troy Hoon from California is committing to Virginia, or he's going to Virginia Tech for a visit. Yeah. And then he says, the best in PA go to Virginia Tech. And it's like, that's the opposite of Pennsylvania. California is the opposite of Pennsylvania. So that's not true. But someone said about, they said, they're going to give Franklin $200 million for this program. And they said, well, we gave him $1 billion, so you're $800 million short.
That was me.
So, well, yeah, thank you, Aaron. That was hilarious. But I will say this real quick, that since we're kind of on the subject, I know a guy, okay? I've heard so many stories about Franklin that I'm not going to say them, but I've heard so much stuff, just people. I'm from the area, so but it's not good. But there is a guy that I know, I'm distantly related to him. He worked for the football team for multiple decades. Okay. He quit, and I don't know, a couple years into his regime, he hates Franklin. Every time I see him, he's on a tear about Franklin. If he was drowning, he'd throw a cinder block at him. Like, he hates him. And he's told me so many stories about Franklin and how arrogant he was. And this guy had been there for multiple decades. He liked Joe and he liked O'Brien. And then he left because he was so turned away by Franklin. And that's a guy that worked there. So that's just a little
There's certain stories I don't want to say because I don't want to get my one buddy pissed off at me. But the one I will share is, and this isn't like an inside contact or anything. This is just a regular friend, like one of my close friends. So one of my close friends is coached with Franklin at some point in his career. I don't know if they're at Maryland together, I think, at some point. And I don't want to mention the guy's name. But anyways, this guy that I'm referring to that coached with Franklin went on to the NFL, defensive coordinator in the NFL with an NFL team right now, and has been in the NFL for a long time now. When Franklin got hired at Penn State, this guy, and him and Franklin used to talk regularly when they worked together in Maryland and afterwards a little bit. When Franklin got hired at Penn State, this guy reached out to him to try to call him and congratulate him on getting the job. And Franklin just like totally blew this guy off completely. That's how arrogant he was. Like, this guy is like, I'm in the fucking NFL. Sorry. I'm in the NFL.
That's all right.
I'm in the NFL above you. I run circles around you. I'm reaching out as a friend to you. And like, now you're like big shot in me. You're big time in me. Like, he was an arrogant guy. He was just an arrogant guy that, I mean, now he did a lot of good. Parents loved him. He did genuinely care about his players for the most part. So I give him that. But it's just his arrogance, his stubbornness, his unwilling to change. I work with a guy who played high school football at a place called Nativity, which is in PA in Schuylkill County. And I don't know this player's name, but one of the best players that came out of this school played with Franklin at East Stroudsburg, and they were close. And I guess this guy fell on some hard times, isn't doing well. And this guy's high school coach was at Penn State at a camp or something with Franklin that he was running, and he asked Franklin to give this guy a call just as a little boost of confidence. You know, that was all. Just like say hi to the guy, it'll cheer him up. Franklin said, "Oh, I can't do that." You know, so I just
it's easy to get into this topic, but I'm guilty of it. I'm really trying to put my energy into hopefully the new guys, and
Bob Chesney.
but it's so easy to fall back into that because he really put us in a tough spot, man. It's not like I haven't been saying it for a long time, So, but Chris, Bob Chesney, what do you think? You think that's a good? I mean, you kind of already gave your thoughts, but you think that's a good hire? I mean,
I think if you're a winner, you're a winner. And I've always said, even though this guy has experience, I think work ethic takes over in any just know-how, intuition, work ethic is what's most important. And this guy has it. He proved he could win anywhere. There's going to be people that hate this hire and think it's crazy that after all this, we got a guy from a smaller school. There's going to be people that love it. For the people that don't like it, you would have said the same thing about Kirk Signetti if this was 2 years ago and Franklin was fired. You would have said the same thing. So I do like the hire. I am concerned about players leaving. That is not going to be Terry. But I will say it wasn't, and you said that, Mark, that this is the guy that Penn State must have targeted. This Bob Chesney did not even come onto the radar until a few weeks back or so. Like this whole search that's been going on, a month now, at least a little over a month, whatever it's been. Like he was not he wasn't even really mentioned as a candidate. Pat Kraft swung for the fences. Mike Elko was above Chesney. DeBoer's above Chesney. He even tried, as crazy as it sounds, he did reach out to Marcus Freeman. And, that was never going to happen. But he did go big game hunting. And, he still has he still has a slight shot left with DeBoer from what I was told. But maybe he already got his answer, since it seems like it's Chesney.
You guys have anything else to say about Chesney?
He's a likable guy. Franklin was not. So that's the main difference, right? The boosters might just be happy enough to be like, yeah, this guy's likable. I like his charisma. He's not arrogant. He seems humble.
Yeah,
we'll give him money. I mean, that's what
he'll be hungry. Like Joe Paul said in the comments, he'll be hungry.
The hungry lion now, Nittany lion.
What I saw from him, I looked him up real quick before I jumped on, and it's 129-51 record that he has as a head coach. I mean,
130, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's fantastic. So, but I did also look up another number. The only thing I would say is a concern is, again, for how long he's been a head coach. Bob Chesney's track record, again, it's a small school, I get that, but 5 guys have come from his school, from his coaching, have gone to the NFL. 5. I'm just saying that's something to kind of consider, where it's like you think like, oh, these guys go to Penn State to get to the next level if they can. And it's like, well, this guy, it's a start. But I'm saying it's interesting to think that JMU has only drafted 5 guys for how long he's been a head coach at his school. So it's an interesting.
Does anybody know this? Does anybody know this answer? Bill Snyder totally transformed K-State. I mean, totally 180 that whole program. Total 180 that whole program. How many guys did he put into the NFL, Chris? Do you know?
Bill Snyder. No, I have no idea about. I'm not as worried. I'm not as worried about what he was saying. What you're saying, but like James Madison, you're not going to put a lot of guys in the NFL. I'm not worried about him developing players. I think he could develop guys for the NFL. Because he's going to have better talent to develop. But what I'm worried about is selling it to recruits. What's going to be really interesting is the staff he puts together. Now, if you go out, and I have no idea what his staff is going to be. I don't know if he's going to keep Jim Knowles. I have no idea, because I know that was a question in the chat. But I think it's vitally important Now, if you keep some NFL guys with some proven track records, position coaches are huge. So many I follow recruiting like crazy, and so many recruits are won over by their position coach, how much they like their position coach, what the position coach has done as he put people in the NFL. If you bring guys from JMU that, haven't coached top talent, then that could be an issue. If you keep some position coaches by chance that, like, say, Terry stays on as corners coach or whatever, that's a good thing. He has to get proven position coaches to be able to sell that.
I could see him keeping Jim Knowles, and I could also see Pat Kraft micromanaging in a good way. Like, these are some guys we should go after, Bob, and they could probably work as a team. You know what I mean?
Oh, I'm sure they've had those discussions, but
47
I think with Jim Knowles' contract being, the highest paid guy and being that they put so much money into it and it was just year one, I think Knowles is probably likely to come back. But we'll
Terry
see.
got in.
I mean, now the head coach. Yeah, so the head coach is supposed to have his say of what staff, including offense coordinator and defense, supposed to have his say. In fact, there was an article today I read. Jackson Samuels Ford, who's defensive end recruit with 26, is staying with Penn State, and I think he was up for the weekend, and he met with Pat Kraft and was asking questions about the new head coach Pat Kraft didn't tell him who the new head coach was going to be, but when he was asking questions about the staff and stuff, Pat Kraft said that's going to be up to the new head coach.
47 players under Bill Snyder, but I just make that comparison because Bill Snyder went into an absolute they almost canceled the program. That's how bad they were. But he was at a big school. Bob Chesney, like Chris just said, he's never been at a big school. So to me, 5 guys in the NFL from that tenure, that's probably good. But
it'd be interesting. Go look up how many Kurt Signetti put in the NFL while at JMU. Yeah. I don't know how long he coached there, but no.
Well, he was at IUP, right? Was he at IUP?
I believe so. Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
He was.
Yep.
Are you guys good on time?
Yeah,
I have to roll. My computer's actually dying, and I just got home from work. My battery's
all
worn
right, Chris.
out.
Well, thank you for coming on, man.
Thanks, Chris.
Yeah, no problem. Have a good night, guys.
Bye-bye.
Have a good one, Chris. Also, Mark, JMU's in Virginia, so if he's already recruiting out in this region, he might have some ties, right? So Virginia's down the road. That's where Frankie Boy went. So
people
and I call him Frankie Boy because he's a boy. He's a child.
Yeah,
right. He's not.
He is. He's a moron, is what he is. But I call him. I don't call him. People keep saying he has ties to Virginia. He's gonna go against Penn State to DMV. Franklin, go take the next 10 classes of number 1 players. Go ahead. Take them all. We're good. Okay? Mm-hmm. Trust me. We're okay. You're going to go down there. And if you get Chip Kelly, you might go 10-2 now. So, we'll see. But
Chip Kelly's available now.
Yeah.
He just got fired off my terrible team.
People are already saying that he's going to Virginia Tech. I'm like, all right. Because he does need Chip Kelly down there. He does.
Should we mention the Tony Rojas thing quick? That's funny.
Oh, yeah, go ahead. Virginia
Tech thinks that they're getting Tony Rojas. Tony Rojas legit commented on the post with a thumbs down, as in, there's no way. so that's funny because Tony Rojas liked one of Mark's videos, so that's cool, too.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, Brett, you want to say the people that liked it? You were, listing them off earlier?
Yeah, I thought it was cool because a lot of them follow me and they'll see my story, but I don't post football stuff on my thing. Tyser Denmark liked it. Who else?
Quentin Martin did. Joe just texted me and said Quentin Martin did. That's my favorite player on the team.
Yeah, there were a couple players on there. Oh, LeVar Arrington II liked it.
Yeah. Adam Brenneman. Who else? But again, it gets Terry praise, so that's all I want is give him more praise. He deserves all of it.
School of the Blind liked it too, just in spite of Notre Dame, they liked it.
Yeah, because they got upset by Notre Dame. Yeah, But